Okay. Welcome everyone to the masterclass on Stop Being the Underpaid CEO, why your business is making money and you're not. We're going to talk about what's happening, who I am, what's going on with you, and see what happens. See what breakthroughs you might have today. So first, let's start my presentation. Bear with me as I get this going. I like to have some slides to reference, so I'm hoping that you do as well. Please put your questions and comments in the chat so that I can answer questions as we go. I will try and follow along with everything as we go. Yeah, good. Yay. So stop being the underpaid CEO while your business makes money and you don't. So this is for you for the woman who is already generating revenue. You've got clients, you've got a business, but you've identified that you're not paying yourself a CEO salary. And we're going to help you identify what that might be, because I know this was a revelation for me when I first learned what the actual CEO salary was supposed to be. And I will share with you, I was the first to realize I was not doing that. The good news is you're making an impact. Your clients are already having results. And we want you to have an even bigger impact and more results in the world as well. That's the goal here. Here's the truth. You're generating revenue, but you're not compensating yourself like a true CEO. It's not a strategy problem. There's not something that you need to do. There's not something that you need to do more of. It's something that you need to be. So we're going to identify your identity ceiling. I'm hoping that you'll be able to get to that today, and so that you can have a breakthrough. Here's what's really going on. The business is functioning and you're not compensated the way that you should be. Because I recently reviewed 55 academic research papers going back to the 70s. And the latest one was in 2024. Tara, I know as a researcher, you're going to love that this is actually based in data and science. I'm just not making this stuff up. And you like that, don't you? And 55 studies. And what they showed is they actually don't talk to what the business is revenue, what they talk to what the business is generating in revenue, but they don't talk to what the CEO is compensating themselves, both in male and female run industries. That's a problem because it's a silent, hidden problem that I'm on a mission to bust. I want all of us to be paid well for what we do, deliver great service, and be compensated well. Not just fairly, but well. Because one of my clients is a chief of staff and or a fractional integrator, a fractional chief operations officer. And she said, Suzanne, she sees it all the time. What happens is entrepreneurs run their business and they're not paying themselves a proper salary. Do you know what you're doing in her terms? Is you're actually, I want to get her exact words. You're actually undervaluing your business. Not just yourself, but your business. You actually don't have a business, you have a hobby. I really want that to land. So this research, what the research papers, when I put it all together, yes, I used AI to help me with this. It said that successful women absorb the financial risk. They absorb unpaid hours. How many of you have worked over, given more time, done more than others have? We're just letting somebody else in. Welcome, Rosie. And I'm just continuing. Rosie, glad you're here. And we're just getting into the hidden problem. Female entrepreneurs, especially, stabilize everyone and everyone else, but they destabilize themselves by not paying themselves what they're worth. We become the shock absorbers of our business. Hey, I get it. I've done it too. I want to make sure that I'm doing a good job, so I over deliver. Instead of just a 60-minute session, I let them run over. I don't allow my boundaries to enforce. There's many things that we do. So we'll talk a little bit about more how you're doing this, how you're absorbing the financial risk. You're making sure other people on your team are getting paid more than you are. One of my clients shared that with me recently. She realized that she was paying one of the people on her team, a consultant, more than double what she pays herself monthly. And we justify it. Who am I? I'm Suzanne Longstreet. I help women to remember who they really are, who they are at their core, who they're being, who their identity is, to become the calm and confident leader that they really want to be and pay themselves well. I do something called Quantum U activation coaching, where I'm using many neuroscience-based techniques, including neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, positive intelligence, superconscious transformation, and many others to help you to identify your core identity so that you can step into that, so that you never second guess yourself, or rarely, and show up as the true, calm, confident leader that you are. I am very happy to tell you that many of my clients have reached millionaire status. I had one client a couple of years ago who sold $1 million worth of services in 90 days. She surprised and delighted herself. And I said to her, I was thrilled for her. And I said, so what shifted? What happened? And she goes, this work, Suzanne, this mindset work we've been doing. So if she can do it, you can too. I love this quote from Michelangelo. I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free, or her. What I particularly love about that is that that's how I see myself. I see marble statues or women who come to me, and I can see the calm, confident leader inside of you. And what we do is we just chip away at the things that aren't serving you so that we can get you into your core true identity of who you really are and find out how you can make more money, show up bigger, make decisions from a place of clarity, courage, and confidence. I'm going to tell you, I've been right there. My revenue was growing, and as my revenue was growing, this is just a couple of years ago, my expenses started to go through the roof because I kept thinking, oh, I've got that money coming in, I'll spend it. But I didn't spend it just once. I would spend it 2 and 3 times. And I realized, oh, this behavior has to change. I don't know, am I alone? Has anybody else done that? They've got the money coming in, and so they start to share it with other people and buy more and think, oh, well, this will solve the problem. Oh, this is going to help me. Oh, I'll do this. Oh, I'll get into this program. I'll do this. That's what I was doing. My clients were succeeding, but I wasn't paying myself. Yeah, making big investments in company. Yeah, more money, more money. Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, clients were succeeding, but I wasn't paying myself like a CEO. And we know what that is. Here I was telling them they need my clients to do it. Thanks, Amanda. I appreciate that. And so I felt like a fraud. And I was like, oh, come on. You can't do this. So I got a hold of the expenses. I'm going to quote from a book called Profit First in a few minutes by Mike Michalowicz. If you have not read that book, I highly recommend it. It is life-changing. Mike Michalowicz's core identity or mission in life is to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. Mine is to eradicate the pay gap for female entrepreneurs. So, and I just love his work, and he has some really great tools and processes, and we'll talk about those in a minute. So I'm going to tell you what's really going on is not about marketing. It's not about being more visible. having better funnels, better messaging, better strategy. Yes, we need to do all of those things, but that may not be the issue. It's about what you're tolerating. And this was the question that my client responded to in the emails that I sent you. And she said, we had a session yesterday, and she said, "Oh my gosh, Suzanne, thank you for asking that question. I realized that I'm paying myself one salary and monthly, and I'm paying more to the consultant." So she's absorbing the risk in her business more and paying out more than what she's paying herself. I just want to shift that so that what happens now is, instead of tolerating paying others more than you're worth, how can we change that? So here's the question that I'm going to ask you to share with me is, what is it that you're tolerating? If you were to know, what is it that you're tolerating? I'm going to just pause here. What are you tolerating? You didn't think this was an interactive session, did you? Okay. So just think about it. You can journal on it, write it down. We'll come back to it. Here's the first pattern. What you may be doing is you're negotiating against yourself. In other words, when's the last time that you know this was your price, but you discounted it? Or you let the pricing go, you softened it, you maybe didn't stick to that price, you let them go less. Or when you over-explained your value. Yesterday, I was on a networking meeting with a group of lovely ladies and a woman who has been in business for 25 years. We were going around the room. There was 3 of us in a breakout room, and she was talking about what she did. And she started with her certifications. I'm a certified life coach, and I've spent 25 years in corporate, and I do this, 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 and I do this. And she went on for 5 minutes. She talked about her process. She was justifying herself for us. That was my impression of what she was doing, rather than saying what she really was. And what it came out after the 5 minutes, what she really is a life coach who is passionate about sales and helps people get over themselves to make a better sale. And it was like, oh, that's brilliant. So many people need that. But unfortunately, we got lost so far in her word salad of many things that she was sharing with us. Her core message was over-explained. And so she over-explained her value. Oh, Amanda, you just doubted yourself. Amanda put in the chat, I'm the one paying the consultant more than I'm paying myself, and bearing the risk too. Yes, I'm glad you see that. Yeah. Because we as the entrepreneurs are bearing the risk and holding that risk. Excuse me. All right. Pattern number 2. So just thinking about it, just ask yourself, are you discounting? Are you over explaining your value? Are you focusing on your process and not the results that clients are getting? Just ask yourself, because that's a pattern of this behavior that may be running. Second, what's happening? Scope creep. Oh, another session. Oh, a little bit more time. Oh, yeah, we can do that too. Emotional labor. How much time and energy? I'm working with a client right now. We just started this morning, and she was sharing with me, because of the work she does, she has a lot of energy work. And what she does is she's actually holding the energetic weight of every single client who she works with. And so it's actually building physical weight on her body. It's causing her physical pain. And she's hired energy healers to help her manage that. And I'm often the last resort, quite frankly, is people come to me when they're like, I have tried everything else, Suzanne, and I need your help. And this is the one thing I haven't tried, so let's try it. They're proving energy. Do you know what proving energy is? Like, oh, let me prove you this. Let me show you this. Let me tell you, I could do this, or I can do this. I can do this. That's another pattern of over delivering. And what happens is we erode our boundaries. We just let them disappear over time. And then people walk all over us, and then we resent it. Or worse, we end up striking back in a volatile moment and then go, oops, I didn't mean to say that. So boundary erosion. So we just want to manage that. So that's the second pattern. So is that occurring for you? Are you over delivering? Is there something about what you're doing in your business? Are you seeing that pattern of over delivering? Okay. Mhm. Third pattern. What's going on? Delayed decisions, waffling decisions, not taking the time. And every time we know that when you're not making a firm decision, what you're doing is you're actually opening up all possibilities in the quantum field, and that's going to drain your energy because the quantum realm is always listening. Our unconscious mind and our superconscious mind is always listening, and it's going to be running all the different patterns. So when you're finding that you're just completely drained, when you're not making decisions, that's where your power is going into all the other possibilities that are out there. You're avoiding visibility. You're not showing up, speaking up, standing out in a way that connects with who you really are, that calm, confident leader deep down inside of you. Oh, and here's a fun one. Anybody ever done this? Wait for permission, seek approval. Those are all approval seeking behaviors. So just reflect. Is that happening? Because the result of that is power leakage. So just to give you an overview again, we've got pattern number one, discounting, which results in the value collapse. Pattern number two, over delivering, which the result is boundary erosion. Pattern number three, approval seeking, which results in power leakage. So now we're going to do a bit of a compensation audit. My voice was fine all day until I start to be recorded. Isn't that perfect? What I'd like you to do is think about your annual revenue. One of the biggest things that we get to know as entrepreneurs is our numbers. So if you can't think of the number or you don't know the number right now, pick an estimate of what you earned last year or what you're earning year to date this year. But just pick a number. What's your annual revenue? And so if you only know monthly from this month, then just times it by 12. If you know last year's number, I think most of us are doing taxes or having to put things together for taxes. So figure out what your annual revenue is. The second thing is, how much did you pay yourself last year? Write that down or think about it. Ashling, please do not stop driving. Please drive safe. You can do this later. And now determine the percentage. So determining the percentage is take the number you paid yourself, divide it by the annual revenue, and you'll get your percentage. And in a moment, based on the work of Mike Michalowicz from his book, Profit First, I'm going to tell you his guideline for what you should be paying yourself. But I'd like you to have your number first. So if you could just put a number, put a Y or a dollar sign. Let's put a dollar sign. Let's put a dollar sign in the chat when you know your percentage. And I'm going to cough. Oh, you're at the office now. Thanks. So, Ashling, you've got it. Anybody else got a number? Thank you, Tara. Is anybody not know their revenue and their income? Is anybody okay? Thanks, Julie. Amanda, I know you know. Kathy's got it. Okay, good. Thanks, everybody. So now I'm going to show you Mike's. Yeah, thanks, Amanda. Ready? So whatever number you put, if you're between 0 and 250K, you need to be paying yourself, according to Profit First, according to Mike Michalowicz, 50%. So for example, if you're making 150K, it should be $75,000 in your pocket. And that's accounting for tax as well. So tax has already come out. Oh, way to go, Amanda. 28%. Okay, so we want to get that higher. And if you're between 250 and 500, it's at 35%. So if you're at 350K, you should be about 122.5. That's the CEO level pay, the owner pay. And if anybody's up at this level, it goes to 10% because you need more people, more team in order to get to that. So more investments are needed. But at this level, at 0 to 250, you should be putting 50% in your pocket. Again, that's after tax. There's another percentage that goes for tax. You should be putting 10 to 15% out for tax. Hi, Tara. You changed and everything. Okay. How's that landing? 40%. Way to go, Tara. That's amazing. That's closer to 50. Unless you're, yeah, great reminder. Thanks, Amanda. Okay. Now, this is when I put these numbers up here and the voice that you're hearing in your head, that's the resistance that you're having. That's what you get to work with and find out what's really stopping you. Okay. Be kind to yourself. So the identity gap. So hey, and I've run this too. It's like, oh my God, thank God I got a new client. Yay. Paying yourself 75%. That's amazing, Ashley. Way to go. um, being just grateful. Oh my God, I got a client. Yay. They're just happy to pay me anything versus a CEO authority standing in your power. Proving your value versus stating and declaring, this is what I'm worth. This is who I am. This is what I get to be paid. Seeking approval. Oh my God, please may somebody just like me. Oh God, please. Versus deciding your compensation. I remember when I finished, it was 10 years ago, I finished my trainer's training and we were told from now on, we will never charge less than $500 an hour. And at that point in time, I was really excited because I was charging $175,000, excuse me, $175 an hour as a life coach. And I was thinking I had made it in the shade. Like I was doing great. I was paying out way more than that, but things were okay. So $500 was a big leap. And I started to back it off and justify why I couldn't and who's going to pay that and all of that. And that's when I realized, oh, okay, these are the problems that are running. And when I just started to say to people, are you coming? This is what it costs. They were like, okay. And they were just in. And one of the things that I absolutely love when I'm talking to people and clients is the amount that we charge has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with what the other individual is willing to invest in themselves for their success. It's what they're willing to invest in themselves for their success. And that's the container, the boundary that you get to hold for your ideal client. I've seen it happen more and more and more. The more I charge, the more clients invest in themselves, the bigger and the faster results that they get. Because our identity determines compensation. Who you are, being at your core, determines your compensation. You can stand in it. You hold the space for that. So there's a difference between being an operator, that person who is just happy to have a client, is getting paid what's left over at the end of the month, if there's anything left over. Owners decide what they're paid first. One of my first millionaire clients, she declared that she was going to get paid 35, was it 35 or 25 or 35? I think it was $35,000 a month. And now in that, she also put in taxes. So she was $35,000, which included the taxes that she needed to pay. But she declared it and she lived it for years. And she talked to her finance team, said, "You can't do that." And she goes, "Watch me. That's a CEO identity. Don't you tell me what I can't do." And what happened is her business grew even more because she stood in that identity first. Now, I'm not saying pay yourself $30,000 or $35,000 or whatever it is right now, build towards it. But when you do that, you've declared it, and then you will tolerate less. Does this make sense to you? When you declare that you are worth $5,000, $8,000, $12,000, $30,000 a month, you will act differently and you will show up with more confidence. Your sales will come. I've watched it happen over and over again. And again, whatever beliefs or limiting decisions are running in your brain right now, write them down, because that's what's getting in your way. So be honest. Be honest. How are you behaving? Are you behaving like an operator and just taking in, getting paid whatever's left over at the end of the month? Or did you decide on your compensation, and are you behaving like an owner? So we want to move to the millionaire brain or the millionaire CEO. We want to move from being an operator to an owner. What does that look like? What does that sound like? What does that feel like for you? We want to stop seeking approval and stand in our authority. Speak up, stand out, show up. And we want to bring in revenue at a wealth level to increase our wealth. I'm getting all hot. I'm sitting here in the sun, going to turn on the fan. Okay. Because what's the cost? The true cost of not paying yourself what you're worth, of standing in that CEO compensation, is burnout, resentment, working overtime, working too many hours, letting clients move their schedule on you, and then you just are showing up and doing whatever they want to do, and you're just behaving like a doormat. Stop it. You're a CEO. Your service is valuable because we don't want you to be dependent on the business. We want you to have some freedom. I don't know too many entrepreneurs who have started their business to be trapped by it. We start our business to have freedom to make all the decisions that we want, freedom to get away from somebody else telling us what to do and how to do it and when to do it, freedom from being tied to an office when we don't want to be tied to an office. I spent 3 weeks in Europe last year. It was blissful. I didn't worry about my business, thought about my business, but I didn't worry about it. Spent another week in Punta Cana earlier this year. It was lovely. So we want to be able to get out and do what we love with the people we love. So I'm going to ask you a question. What if you chose your CEO compensation and it doubled in the next 12 months? How would life be different? What would you be doing that's different from what you're doing now? I'm going to tell you, I have worked with so many people who, once we figured out what that key was that was stopping them and we unlocked it, everything changed. So let me tell you a little bit. I've built this model to show you the millionaire brain. So I get it. Like I'm working with a client this morning. We just started, and I said to her, why are you here? Is one of the first questions I'll say is, why are you here? And full disclosure, she is another NLP trainer. So she has the exact same training that I do. In fact, she went before me, so she has more training and more time doing this work. And I'm privileged and honored to be coaching her through this breakthrough. And she said, "Yeah, I'm good. I'd be happy with $200,000 a year." And I'm like, "Well, what if we could double it?" She goes, "No." And I'm like, that's the moment that we go, okay, that's where the problem is. What's coming up that's making you go? And she literally took a deep breath in and went, "No." Oh no, that's going to shift. We're going to work on that because I want to find out what's going on that led to that physical response. So it may not be a millionaire brain that you're looking for, but it might be double what you're making now or $50,000 more than making you're now. But it's more. We'll just call it that, right? So that's part of the millionaire brain. So the first step is we want to get clarity. What's working for you? We want you to step into courage so that you can have confidence. And here's how we do it. First, we connect you with who you're being, the B. Who's your core identity? That's so interesting. So thanks, Amanda. So interesting. I just did the same thing when I doubled the number each month. Yeah. It's a big breath. Yeah. So we get to work on what is that? What's underneath that? What, and there's a journaling thing for you is what is it that's coming up? What belief do you have that's running so deep in your unconscious mind? You're not even aware of it. And then we step into the doing. So what is it that you need to do? There's so many people, including myself years ago, I felt scared because my belief. Yeah. Yeah. We want to, not necessarily, because we can figure out, because yeah. Sorry, I want to jump into coaching. I'm not going to do that. We'll talk. So a lot of us start with, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? There's more. I need to do more. I need to do more to have more, right? That's how we start, but we forget the being. So I want to take it back to who's your core identity? Who is it that you really need to be? Because when you start from that place, the core identity, who you really are, then the doing is clear. And then you have. Amanda, do you want to come on and talk a little bit about your experience about when you, I'm going to fully out. Amanda is,
Yeah, I'm happy to share. Well,
yeah,
it's interesting because like we've done this work and it's actually I'm just be completely transparent. Like my first number was just to automatically pay myself 4,000 a month, which is what I pay my consultant, just make mine the same. And I was like, okay, like that feels good, but it feels like I felt my brain making all these like caveats because I pay myself a certain amount that just goes directly into like my retirement savings, and that's what I pay right now. But then in my business, I'll like have some things that I allocate for like my own supplements or my own chiropractic care. And I'm like, well, it's kind of paying myself because it's like for my benefit. So I'm close to that $4,000 now if you add that all in. But what I realized is if I'm like double that to 8,000, I was kind of like, oh, well, no, because then that means I'm working a ton.
that means
I'm working a ton.
you're working a
My
ton,
brain immediately thought that I'm working twice as much as I am.
right? Yeah. So we need to clear that. Okay. That's good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Where
Mhm.
what I was also going to ask you is the being. Like when we first met, you were like, okay, I need to do more. How many projects? I think you said you had 12 projects that you were working on. And then after we the full disclosure, we did a breakthrough and then we're doing our second breakthrough. And now you said, Suzanne, now I went from having 12 to 2 projects.
Oh yeah, it's way more. You're right. I've had much more clarity on who I am, like how I show up, and my ability to just be present instead of being like scattered and trying to like have so much going on.
Yeah. And and when we also first met, I was watching you. You were leading a team for somebody else's company and you were leading your own team. And you have how many children?
For
4 daughters
yes,
between,
yeah, 14 and 20 now.
right.
14, 16, 18, and 20.
And when I met you several years ago, they were all in high school. So, or
Yeah.
well, in school
Yeah. Like
with
I'll be a grade in high school. Yeah.
dance and cheer and all sorts of things. And what was happening in your business, if I remember, is you were so in the doing, you took yourself out of the being and you weren't able to spend time with your family that you wanted to
Right.
spend.
Yeah.
And that has shifted incredibly and your revenue has gone up.
Mhm.
in your own business. I know that you're, and because you're outside of not doing work for other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's the fear is I can see that that's the pattern is like, oh, well, if I go back and double my revenue, then I'm gonna have to do double the work again.
No, we're not going to do that. No, that's
Yeah.
not going to happen. But that's good to know what the fear is. When we can name it, that's helpful. And there's always
Mhm.
going to be something underneath it that we can't name.
Yeah.
And that's what's really running this show. But the first naming and the awareness is really helpful. So thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you.
Sure.
Going back to my slides, sharing. Okay, hello. Share slides. Okay. So that's a classic, a great example from Amanda about how when she stepped into being, she was able to get clarity on what she needed to be doing more and less of. And now today, she has what she's seeking. And now we get to go back to being so that she can do aligned action to get what she wants, which is double the business. And it's possible. Okay. And so I just want to talk to you. So we start with identity, then we identify the root problem so that we can connect with the identity. We go up and we integrate all the parts that are fractioning out and causing us to think that we need to do 50 million things when we don't, so that we can ignite your potential. And then you can have the impact and income that you want. So this is what I do. That's the kind of work I do in the world is identify what's not serving you, get that clear so that you can go out and take action that's aligned with your core being. I do want to tell you about my book, The Millionaire Brain. Please, I'm happy to, it's available on Amazon. And what I'm actually doing in this book is the first part is me walking it's a parable or a fable, and I'm walking a client through an actual breakthrough so you can experience it and see if you like it, by just having this experience. And then I talk about my own frameworks and I give you some prompts at the end after you've had the realizations so that you can have your own breakthrough. So that's one possibility. So the other thing is you're more than welcome. And I'd love to have a conversation with you about what's going on with your business. Like what came up today for you? What conversations are you having inside of your head? What resistance did you have around me saying to you, you need to be paying yourself at 50% or 35% or 10%, depending on the revenue in your business? And I'm happy to chat with you. And I will be sending you a link to book a clarity call later today, along with a recording of this masterclass. So you also have it. And yeah, because here's what I want you to do. Please, please, please stop running a successful business but not paying yourself. I want you to run the successful business and pay yourself what you're worth. And if that means you need to look at what is not working for you in your business, or if you need to look at what what the words are, what's coming up for you, I want to hear about it because it'll be fun for me to know. So thank you for being here. And I always do this. I always end it before I show you my thank you slide, but I had a pretty thank you slide. So I'm going to stop the recording.